Hey guys, welcome back. Today I am here again with the Craftsman lawn tractor that you saw in the two previous videos. Now I did tell you guys that this machine ended up coming in the shop in the first place because of a PTO problem. It's got an electric PTO clutch for the deck, and the customer was saying that it was intermittent. Sometimes it would shut off and then he'd have to pop the switch off, pop it back on, and he'd be good for a while, and then all of a sudden it would just quit on him. So I'm going to show you what I've come up with. It wasn't too serious of a repair to do, but I thought I'd share it with you because it's not your usual repair. Okay, as I mentioned, it is an electric PTO clutch. What that means is you pop a switch here that runs electrically to a clutch that is also electric, that you just pop it and it will turn your blades on instead of having a manual arm that you have to engage. I prefer this system, although there could be more issues in the long run with these systems if they're not maintained properly. So what I did is I took the machine out, mowed some grass to recreate the problem, and what I came up with is that it kind of seems that it has to do with the pedals here. So as soon as you hit this little pedal over here, which would be the reverse, if you have the deck engaged, it will actually turn the deck off. Now what I realized is when I took my foot off the pedal, it wasn't quite coming back on its own enough to not trip the safety switch. So what's happening is a safety switch is not totally released. When you just release your foot from this pedal here, you actually have to go here to get it to come back. If you do that, you won't have any issues. Also, if you want to bypass all the safety switches for the reverse, what you do is once you've started your machine up, you turn it back to this setting right here. And what that will do is allow you to mow in the reverse mode. So if you start your machine, and I'll do it right now so that you guys can see this. I'm not going to engage the deck, but I will just show you how to bring it back. So you'll be able to bring it back here, and now you can mow in reverse. You can have this on and mow in reverse. So I thought I'd start it because once it's started, the key sits here. You actually have to click it back here, and then you avoid all the issues with the pedals. I haven't seen too many Craftsman lawn tractors with this pedal setup here. Usually it's just one pedal. It's a lot easier, less moving parts. However, this one here, it is a little more cumbersome, I find, although it is nicer than a stick shift with your hand. I prefer the pedals much better. So what I've told the customer here is to keep the key in this setting here, because what I think is all the problems are happening when he's going into reverse. And also, if you accidentally hit this pedal, even though you're not going into reverse, it could trip the safety switch and turn the blades off. So this here is a PTO clutch, just like the one on the machine I'm showing you in this video. It's basically bolted on the engine crankshaft below the drive pulley. The drive pulley to drive your wheels will be here. Then you've got this. So what you want to make sure you check always when you have an issue are the two wires coming out of the clutch here. What often happens is these wires get frayed, or what'll happen is the positive wire, the one that's got juice in it, will get frayed and short on the clutch here, thus grounding that wire and tripping or kicking off the clutch, tripping a safety switch as well. So what I did on that machine is I checked all the wires and they're perfectly good. There's absolutely nothing wrong with those wires. But 9 out of 10 times, guys, when there's an issue with the PTO clutch, it's usually these wires. So I was a bit surprised on that machine that the wires were good, but it does turn out to be what I just showed you on the machine. Now what I did also is I came under the machine here, because that's where that safety switch is for the reverse. That switch is right there. So when I push the forward pedal, it lifts that safety switch. If I push the first pedal here, which is for the reverse, it actually pushes down on that switch, as you just saw, and will trip your electric PTO clutch. So the deck will stop turning. This part over here where the switch is, and you can see behind it, it was just so full of grass. I still have to air blow all the other dirt back there in the grass. It was so full of it that I think it was also causing a problem. It was just basically all caked in over here. So it's really important, guys, to keep your machines clean. It just makes everything work better, and lube up the parts a bit as well. If you spray some lube down here, be careful, because this is where your brake is. You don't want to spray this part, but I did spray around there, all the levers over here, so that they move freely. So because this is an older machine, the customer did not want to spend a fortune on it. The best remedy for him is, when he's using the machine, is to just back the switch up to this position, and he'll never have an issue again. You don't need to physically bypass any switch, you're just kind of bypassing them the proper way by doing it this way. Because I run a small engine shop, guys, I don't bypass safety switches. There's just too many liabilities involved, and you could end up with some lawsuits. But it ended up being an easy repair. I did service the machine for the customer. I've used it around the yard here to make sure that the engine will keep going, and there's absolutely no issues. A lot of you guys talked about the valve guides as well in the previous video. The valve guides on this machine are perfectly good. They're in their proper positions. They're not popping out of the head. Now, a lot of you guys asked in the previous video, how did the push rod get so bent? My guess is because of lack of maintenance. Those valves were probably so out of adjustment that there was so much play in there that this rod was just bouncing back and forth uncontrollably, and not the way it should be. So I'm going to attribute it to lack of maintenance, because if the valves were adjusted properly every year or two, there wouldn't be so much play and less impact on the push rod. But it is a common issue on Briggs & Stratton engines nowadays. I do have to say that I never replace push rods on Kohler engines, and also the MTD Power engines, Kawasaki. For some reason, it's all Briggs & Stratton engines that I have to deal with the OHV problems, overhead valve. That's what OHV means. When they had the old flathead engines, basically they were bulletproof, never had to deal with stuff like that. So if you run a repair shop, guys, make sure to keep some push rods in stock. If you tear down some old engines, just save the push rods. That's what I do. That's what saved my bacon the other day, is I had a good one in the shop here. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and thanks for commenting. Some of you guys were spot on. I look forward to the comments on this video, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.